This podcast is brought to you by Sri Kandi Associates.
Looking for your first matrimonial house? Planning to upgrade? Look no further.
For your property matters, contact Sri Kandi Associates at 8788-3559.
And follow them on Instagram at srikandi.associates.
Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Outside In with your host Yanto.
Farah, your go-to source for honest conversations about relationships and marriage.
So if you are ready, let's go.
Hai.
Yes.
Hari ni I sangat gembira.
Sangat gembira. Kenapa sangat gembira ya?
Oh, Tina. Okay. Dikarenakan kita tak berdoaan sahaja. Yes, today we have I would say I would love to call her a co-host lah for today's episode, right? Because kita ada submission, right? Also before that, do you wanna
preempt dulu.
yeah.
Okay, so this submission that we have received pernah juga dibentangkan oleh podcast Hey Korang.
Yeah, recently, right?
Recently juga. So I feel that the person yang submit ni dia share her stories dengan kita, dengan juga dengan Hey Korang. So of course from outside in pula kita nak give our opinions and also a professional punya point of view juga kan, InsyaAllah. So kalau korang belum dengar korang punya episode on this, maybe korang boleh dengar dulu, then korang boleh dengar kita pula lah.
We think lah, we are quite positive that it's the same
person lah.
Same person, right? So okay, without further ado, I'm going to introduce who's with us today.
She's very excited. Kata apa tadi kan, she has been in her very what they call it, natural state of happiness lah. Jarang nampak di podcast. Tapi dari tadi dia terkija-kija kat kursi.
Yes, we'd like to introduce to you Ustazah Hidayah.
Ayo. Tak tu sangkut. How about you, Ustazah? Thank you so much for coming today.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being so comfortable around me, most importantly. So I pun rasa comfortable, insyaAllah.
Very nice. Kita macam feed off each other's energy.
I mean, of course, we have worked with each other before, but Ustazah was behind the scenes lah.
Oh yes, behind the scenes.
She was behind the scenes most of the time at that point, for that particular few episodes. And then also I think we actually we're sharing this almost the same stage for Lala Majnuni event.
Correct.
So at that point in time kan, Farah and me, kita kat belakang tengah tengok Ustazah berbual kan. Then macam, kalau Ustazah ni jadi co-host dengan Outside In, best juga.
Rupanya kita tengah present kat depan, orang tengah planning, conceptualize kat belakang.
Kita tengah kat belakang macam tak lah.
Before we delve into further into our topic of discussion for today, maybe you can introduce yourself also.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Hidayah. And of course in this capacity I am Ustazah Hidayah. Maybe if I can share a bit of my background. I came from a full 12-year education of madrasah. From Madrasah Junaid. Then after that I continued my studies in University of Malaya. That is where I studied USUDIN. Particularly my expertise was on Quran and Hadith. So I learned a lot about the religious scriptures, our religious references. Then Alhamdulillah, after that I came back, tried to find means and ways to contribute back to the community. And then Alhamdulillah was given the opportunity also to further studies in areas of psychology also lah.
Areas of psychology.
So she's a psychological asatiza.
Tapi disclaimer kita bukan like a counsellor ke therapist that kind. But of course I'm here to share perspectives hopefully that is helpful lah in our conversation lah, insyaAllah.
And also I think Ustazah is an insider also, right?
Oh, love insider guys.
And also InsyaAllah dengan doa-doa korang juga, maybe kita pun boleh adalah Ustazah Hidayah dengan kita once a month at least. InsyaAllah.
And also Ustazah Hidayah has her own podcast kan?
Yes, we share a bit about that.
I do that whenever I have the capacity lah, free time. But it's not Sri Kandi Hidayah podcast. So if you have seen me on social media, what I do a lot is to share Islamic content that is hopefully relatable but more towards the reflection side of Islam.
Betul.
So I think at that point pun macam I realise different people consume content differently. Yeah, then I try to explore podcast lah. So it's a very, 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 very humble podcast. But Alhamdulillah lah for the opportunities to pursue.
Then because of that pun we feel that Ustazah will be a very great podcaster jugalah, pasal we've heard her talk, we've heard the videos that she posted. So macam
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. So
Okay,
yes.
On to the submission, shall we?
We want to go straight to that, or we want to talk about something else first?
Oh, right. Okay.
Lupa,
Sorry.
dia dah excited
So,
sangat.
The main topic, right? The main topic for today is should we keep secrets from our spouses?
Because
That is the main umbrella lah.
yeah, I think that episode that we had with Kak Hani kan, Harin Osman, she actually asked us, do you have any secrets that we keep from each other? So that actually got us thinking that this secrets in itself is a huge spectrum of whether or not what determines a secret. And
How
then
do you define
how do you define a secret?
Mm.
And then if husband and wife both have secrets, don't have secrets, what is the effect, or how can it affect
Will there
marriages?
be any consequences? Or
Yeah, so maybe
whatnot?
we dive from the top in.
We dive
from the
outside
outside,
in.
in.
MashaAllah.
But for Ustazah, how do you define a secret yourself?
Interestingly kan, macam secrets in a marriage, what I did before this episode
Okay.
is I did an in-person survey
Oh,
of
your
the
husband?
people, of my husband, the people around me, the people in my life. I tanya macam, would you keep secrets in your marriage? Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
so some people dia boleh straight away jawab macam, no, of course not. Of course I won't keep secrets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people dia macam ada a bit hesitant. Dia macam fikir sekejap. Maybe not. Yeah. But I do find that there are individuals yang say sometimes if there is a need, then I would keep that particular secret. So I think it goes back to the point that you mentioned earlier lah, like what defines a secret, to what extent is a secret, and a lot of times I do feel like the way you define a secret is based on your own experiences as well.
Yeah,
Right.
betul.
Yeah, macam kalau dictionary kita tengok, secret tu is we don't tell people stuff,
Yeah.
right? And we fear if people know about these things, right?
Right.
Yeah, but perhaps our own experiences dia shape what we view as a secret. Does it mean that the moment I tak bilang you everything, it
It's a
means
secret.
it's a secret?
Yeah, it means like a betrayal.
Yeah, or is it for me tak penting, tak important, macam an information that you don't have to know because it's not
Not relevant.
not relevant. So then is that considered a secret?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, tapi Ustazah buat survey.
Kan?
Wah.
So,
In person lah, in person.
Yeah, dedication.
Ni nak kena buat mass media research ni. 300 participants.
Yeah. But I feel that talking about touching on that kan, because we did mention before talking about secrets, because in a sense between a husband and wife pula, back then before we got married pun kita ada this conversation, and it was through a phone call. So she asked me a question. Okay, I wouldn't reveal what the question is because it's a bit personal, but it was a secret to me. Can she asked me, do you have this secret that you want to share with me? You have to tell me the truth. So I'm like, I mean, antara dia dengan I know exactly what it is, but it's up to me whether I want to release this secret to her. If I say no, I don't have any secret, she'll be like, okay, I believe you. And then probably the thing that happened after that wouldn't have happened, which was I said, yes, I do have the secret, and I spilled the secret to her. And then I was ghosted for 3 days at least.
I need time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need time to process. I need time to,
Yeah, she took, and it kind of made me feel that I lost her already, because she gave the impression immediately on the phone call. She said, I do not want to talk to you anymore. Give me some time. But she said,
I never
anymore.
say.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I don't talk to you anymore.
Really?
Give me some time away first. But then you say give me some time away first.
Okay.
So I dah melalak dah kan. Like, oh no, I
lost her.
Yeah. So we had a good thing going on. Like finally, Alhamdulillah, finally I met someone yang betul-betul we can resonate together and things like that. So this particular secret that I shared with her caused a wedge between us. So it got me thinking, should I have shared or not? Because I feel that if I didn't share it with her, she wouldn't know anyway.
Correct.
Kan?
But do you feel macam you regretted, or rather macam you had the thinking macam kalau I didn't tell, would you have felt good about it then? Macam you like, you kalau you cakap I tanya you, and then you say, no I don't have. but actually you have. So would you feel macam, my God, I lied to her, you know, macam
then that comes the question, is it a lie if I say I don't? Okay,
your spouse dah tanya ni.
Yeah. So you never tell me.
Yeah. So in a way, okay, now I put apa nama dia scenario. If I say I will get ghosted, possible kena break up. If I don't say, ibarat I am lying atau tidak. And then if I do that, if I don't say, I can possibly save the relationship from possible harm in a sense. So what do you think, Ustazah?
I think this is where macam we need to realise macam while the secret could be that issue kan, but there will always be two parties apa. The party yang want to tell the secret, the party yang nak tahu the secret. And how ready are both parties?
Yeah, both have to be
macam ready. I want to know your secret because I need to know the deepest, darkest part of you. But are you ready to accept
the deepest, darkest secret?
Are you ready to welcome that reality, that knowledge that you have within you? So I think that readiness from the party yang asking is something that is important to have, but also at the same time trying to see why do people usually keep secrets lah. Like what is the motivation behind it? Like what you mentioned kan, you rasa macam you lost her and everything. Sometimes we fear to tell our secrets because of big reactions from our partners kan,
or judgment.
Because macam I tahu kalau I bilang dia, confirm dia nangis 3 hari, confirm dia akan merajuk, confirm dia akan ni, confirm dia akan tu. So sometimes the secret could be the difficulty, but it could also be that the person yang nak tell the secret is afraid of those big reactions. So I think the readiness of the person pun needs to be there lah. Macam okay, I need you to share with me because I need clarity, but I know that sometimes I akan ada big reactions. I akan cakap, oh my God, atau I akan nangis, atau I akan hilang ke apa. But I assure you, I will be, it's either I will come back or I will be okay, or I will just be present to listen to you at this moment in time.
The assurance also.
So I think macam it's not just about I want to tell the secret or I need to know the secret, but what's the perimeter of things that you are setting, the rules that you are setting,
and your part to play as well. In order to welcome it, regardless you like it or not.
So considering at that point in time kita baru berminggu, tak?
Dah lama juga.
Dah tunang Belum tunang lagi. So it was within 6 months, because I remember kita kenal 6 months tunangan. So it was within the 6 months. We still haven't had the proper communication going on yet. So kita punya the bond between me and you at that point in time, I feel that kita belum lagi erat lagi.
It was still macam
foundational
I
stages.
found a guy, he likes me gitu. It wasn't so much of macam this is my life partner.
So in that capacity, bila you tanya that kind of soalan, it rattles kita punya relationship. Pasal I feel like, in terms of imagination, figure, apa nama dia?
Sorry. Metaphor.
Imagine it's like a building lah. Tapi kita punya building ni masih pakai kayu. So masih
No, yantology.
Yes.
Wow, coin that one.
Yes,
Analogy.
Another yantology for you guys today. So kita punya relationship ibarat masih rumah kayu lagi. So tiba-tiba digempak dengan gempa bumi. So that whole I need to know your secret. But right, if let's say for example the whole foundation sudah kuat ke apa, we already have a good communication going on, I feel that kalau you tanya I that question and I say, and I replied, I'm willing to share the secret, I wouldn't ragu-ragu to tell the secret, because I know our communication is as such.
I think so too.
I feel lah.
I feel like Ustazah say, macam the person yang is about to share the secret to has their own fear of exposing himself or herself, right?
My fear was certified at that point in time.
But then at the same time also, the person receiving receiving the secret tu, dia punya big reactions atau dia punya response is also part of dia punya own experience atau traumas also. So macam, for example, kalau you bilang me something, but then to me is like, it's nothing. Why you never tell me earlier? But because the thing that you shared triggered something in me or in my past experience or whatever, that's why I had a big reaction. So Yeah, it really differs from individuals to individuals.
I think both perspectives are valid lah. Because kita semua ada our own lived experiences kan.
Yeah.
But I think it's setting that perimeter of what could potentially happen and how are we going to work through it is also important. And I think macam like what Yanto mentioned earlier kan, macam maybe we are not ready in this level of our relationship to talk about certain issues.
Right.
But can we surface that as well? Macam I think our communications macam belum situ, belum sampai.
kuat lagi.
Belum kuat. So maybe we can talk about this when we are a little bit stronger. But I do think that we learn to communicate through those moments lah.
Yeah.
Kan? Macam if we don't talk about difficult things, how are we communicating?
Kan,
Right?
Nabila yang Basita mention, sit with the discomfort.
Betul.
Yes.
I love it. Sit with the discomfort. But also personally for us, the experience actually taught us something lah.
Yeah, we had to go through it even though sakit lah 3 hari tak boleh berbual ke, sakit sekali.
It taught me how not to be so, I mean macam kalau I dah ask that person to be vulnerable, right? I should macam set up a safe space for him to tell me regardless whatever. So I feel like I learnt that, and then I brought that macam kita kan manusia kan, even though we say we learn, sometimes we falter, you know, but it's something that I feel now. I mean recently also something happened, something similar.
Oh yeah,
but then my reaction wasn't like
the previous time.
so we learn.
Yeah. Dia macam ibarat the first time you ambil ni nugget ke. I'm not for example Yantology. For example she asked me ni ambil nugget kat atas meja ni. Lepas tu bila nak ambil potong pap. Itulah sorry ambil. Tapi inilah konsekuensi dia. Tapi sekarang kan dah lain. Ambil nugget terus makan dia suapkan sekali. Perbezaan dia macam gitulah I feel Yantology.
Betul lah.
But I think I would say that ya Allah, I would say that recently, I think I would say as early as last year, a similar situation happened. She asked me to open up again, and this time around it was still very hard for me to open up because takut her reaction. Pasal it was something that really happened between us kan. But in a sense where kita dah berumah tangga for about 3 years at that point in time, 3 years, and then our communications Alhamdulillah. So bila I opened up to her about this issue that I've been having, that I've been keeping to myself, dia pula at first yes nampak muka dia marah, dia dah start bibir dah menggeletar.
The initial reaction was like
lepas tu but then
nak pukul.
but Alhamdulillah the first thing she said was, Ayang, why? Previously it was like, you don't talk to me, I need my time. Imagine if it was an improvement I would say. But of course the other fact is that dia dah kat dalam rumah ni tak boleh lari lah kan.
But then I made it a point to hold your hand while the whole thing is happening, right? Even though I'm angry with him, I'm like, why? So he knew that I'm not going anywhere lah.
Yeah, I feel that this is personal growth. Personally, it's a personal growth for me, personal growth for her, but also I would say a good indication that we have been having proper conversations for us to be able to reach there. And macam couple therapy session kan?
Betul.
Masya-Allah. I don't think that macam on that note, it's also quite a blessing to be able to talk about it. Macam it's a blessing to have a spouse yang willing to share although it's difficult, and it's a blessing to also have a spouse to listen although it is so difficult to listen. And it's a blessing. Macam if we change that situation, imagine it's that same secret tapi you didn't tell me, I found out myself.
Right.
Then that could be a totally different conversation, and the difficulty is also different. And perhaps we couldn't set that safe space lah to be able to share our thoughts with each other. So yes, these are moments of discomfort, moments of challenge and difficulty, but sometimes we forget to take a step back and realize it's also a blessing from Allah SWT because He facilitates that conversation for you.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of times kita just focus on the problem, but we forget to see Allah's mercy in our experiences lah. So I do feel that the both of you, you are talking about that experience tadi kan. I see that blessing lah. Macam Masya Allah, you we put aside our capacity to brain the secret. We put aside our capacity to communicate that secret, but to be able to just
sit down
and just want to talk about it. It's a huge blessing yang I feel a lot of marriages out there might not experience that.
Right. Macam mana dapat blessing tu, doa lebih-lebih gitu.
But it's something that you learn lah. We didn't reach here overnight. It's something that we learn. And there will be a lot of uncomfortable moments. And it's up to you whether you want to face it together or brush it under the rug. But it's our own marriage. We make the decisions, and
it's how beautiful you want to paint it lah, kan, in a sense.
InsyaAllah. Yeah. I think that's the key lah. To do it together.
Do it together.
Yeah. Macam we can talk about it, but what if I seorang je nak kena deal with your secrets?
Right.
Or macam I tell you, but you're not helping me with what I'm struggling with. Yeah, I think the key is together.
Jadi dah berjangka nanti kalau it's just one person fighting the war themselves, when it's supposed to be me and you against the problems.
Correct.
Not me versus you. Kan marriage.
Yeah.
So in terms of the differences in the view of secrets, kan, let's say like just now earlier on you mentioned that sometimes I feel that it's not a secret, but to her it's a secret. When a couple have this kind of differences, what do you think is the best way for us to betul-betul sit down and meet in the middle?
I think we need to share our definitions lah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, macam we always assume a lot in our marriages. Yang this is the way I view secret, then you will view it the same.
Okay.
Tapi sometimes, of course, for the most times, it's not the case lah, because as Farah mentioned earlier lah, kita have our own traumas, we have our own experiences, kan. So I do think it's important to talk about it. Macam okay, kalau I simpan ni, if I don't tell you this, do you consider this a secret?
Right.
And likewise for the other person lah. Because if we don't start defining it together, together kan, finding a definition together, then how are we supposed to be on the same page?
Betul.
Right. So the key word is together.
Together. I think we can liken this. This is not just for secrets. Yeah, we can liken this to any conflicts that we have.
Yeah.
The important thing is to macam kalau I'm not happy with the way you do things, to me it's right the way you do. I mean, to me it's wrong the way you do things. But
macam lipat baju.
But we came from different upbringing. Our mother teach us to fold clothes differently, So I think the thing that most of us, when we go into a marriage, right, we think macam we are a match made in heaven.
Maybe yes, InsyaAllah, jodoh kan.
Everything is we like the same thing, we do the same things, we like the same things, we think the same way, but actually it's not. Most of the time, 90% is not lah, because we are all different upbringing. So it's the same thing lah. You have to macam, if you don't like it, we have to find a way to meet in the middle. It's not he is wrong, I'm right, or he is right, I'm wrong. In your marriage, I feel like personally you have to define how you want your marriage to be. It has to work for both of you, not for anybody else.
Yeah, but there, I think we actually had this conversation on one of our TikTok live, kan. So there was a lady yang she asked us, how do you deal with someone, for example, the husband dia tak nak dengar cakap dia. She wants to try certain things. She asked for I remember already. She asked for our advice. So I said, do this. For example, you open up, sit down with him, go and talk to him, because I feel that sometimes it's kita punya tone that needs to be changed. Cuba another tone and things like that. So she said that she actually tried it, but the husband at the point in time macam betul-betul kata he doesn't want to talk about it at all.
I think we receive a lot of those kind of things, because our listeners are mostly women, right?
Yeah.
So they, InsyaAllah lah, I hope that they listen to this podcast to macam improve however way their marriage or themselves, right? So they want to make this change, but then husband orang tak dengar this podcast, so probably they are already macam comfortable with the way things are. So macam the wife wants to do something different, but then like Yan said, one willing party, one not willing party, kan. So nothing can happen.
It's common lah sebenarnya. Macam not just learning from the podcast, tapi at least from my perspective, kan, we teach religious knowledge, and then sometimes Allah choose certain family members to be part of that Islamic learning. So they learn something new, then they bring back home, they want to apply at home.
Okay, understand. I see where you're going with this.
Tapi maybe the husband, the children, or anybody in the family macam tell them off lah, macam you bukan ustazah, you bukan ustaz, why are you lecturing me? But this person dia dah learn all the good things.
Yes, want to share.
Yeah, they want to share. They want to translate it into their own families lah. So I do think that is a challenge when we seek knowledge, we learn something new, and then we want to apply it in our own lives. But I do think that at the end of the day, if we look at just the perspective of marriage, the fact that you all have so many episodes already right now means ada banyak issues that you talk about. It tells us that marriage is not easy, but we sometimes forget that marriage is also worship. Marriage is an ibadah. Like if you tengok your solat, you nak solat, ada hari susah, ada hari you feel not motivated, ada hari you feel you struggle with certain parts of the prayer, ada hari you struggle to even want to take care of your prayers. Then kalau solat aja, which is an ibadah, is a worship, is challenging. What more this journey of a marriage? And I think what grounds us is to remind us, yes, memang susah, tapi ni ibadah. We have a direction that we are headed towards. And our keyword is together kan? So, together towards Allah, together towards paradise, together towards that objective lah. Kena always remind each other lah.
Berlama berdiri.
Reflection for you.
Yes, so kan, because I feel that kadang-kadang kita lupa lah. Manusia kan, kita lalai. We always think about kita dunia kita lupa actually. Like what Ustazah mentioned, marriage is an ibadah.
Yes. Okay. On that note, we shall share this our submission from a listener.
Selling solutions, not promises.
Hi, I'm Ira from Sri Kandi Associates. It is a common practice for single adults to help parents with their HDB outstanding loan by adding themselves as owner to their parents' unit and refinancing the loan. However, it is best to note that this will mean they are actually utilizing their first HDB loan, and in future, when they plan to purchase a matrimonial home or their own unit with the intention of using a HDB loan again, it will be considered as your second HDB loan. As such, half of the cash proceeds from the previous flat need to be used to pay off part of the purchase of this unit. For more tips, you can follow srikandi.associates on TikTok and Instagram.
Assalamualaikum. I have been a fan of your podcast. Your podcasts have been useful for me as I resonated with a lot of the stories that are being shared.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
I've been wanting to share my story for the longest time, and I do not know where to vent it out. My story may sound taboo as this topic is rarely discussed openly. My husband, should we say the name?
Yes, yeah. Pasal it was used a different name in the other book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Faiz is no doubt a responsible husband who took care of his family needs. He has sacrificed a lot for his family, and I do not appreciate.
I do.
Oh God, I do appreciate his efforts and what he contributed to this family.
For the first few years of our marriage, I didn't think much of the little quirks my husband Faiz had. Everyone has their peculiarities, I told myself, and it's important to be accepting and understanding. When Faiz first confided in me about his attachment to wearing diapers and wanting to be treated like a baby during our off days, I didn't know how to react. It was a shock, but I loved him and wanted to be understanding. I told myself that this was just another aspect of who he was, something he could work through together. For a while, I managed to push aside my discomfort and adapt to his needs. I tried to rationalize it, thinking that everyone has their ways of finding comfort. But as time went on, what I had hoped would be a temporary phase became an inescapable part of our lives.
His attachment to diapers is called ABDL. ABDL stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lover. It's a group of people who like to act like babies or enjoy wearing diapers. This can make them feel relaxed or happy, and it's usually a personal choice that they keep private. They might talk to others with the same interests online or in person. A small amount of money has been spending monthly buying his diapers and adult baby clothing. He has a collection of printed adult diapers with baby-themed designs you see on baby diapers like Pampers or Mami Poco. Night after night, Faiz would wear diapers to bed, and I would lie there beside him pretending that everything was normal.
In the morning, his diapers would be wet, just like a baby that needs a diaper change. Our weekends, once filled with outings and shared hobbies, turned into role-playing sessions where I was expected to care for him like a baby. It was exhausting emotionally and mentally. The man I had married, who once made me feel cherished and loved, now seemed lost in this overwhelming need for infantilism. I began to feel more like a caregiver than a wife, and the intimacy between us faded away, replaced by a sense of obligation that I could no longer ignore. The breaking point came when I realized how much I had lost myself in trying to accommodate Faiz's desire. My own needs, my sense of identity, and even my happiness were all slipping away. I started to resent him for what our marriage had become, for the constant pressure to participate in something that made me feel so alienated. I knew that I couldn't go on like this. I still care for Faiz, but I can't live in a relationship that feels so one-sided and suffocating. As painful as it is, I need to find my path, and that means letting go. It's time for a divorce for both of our sakes. Yours truly.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's heavy.
that's
Heavy, yeah.
heavy.
I mean,
where do we start?
it's a different thing when we cosplay as anime characters or this apparently from what I baca ni is dia pakai diapers malam-malam sampai
Like
dia
a baby
like a
lah,
baby,
like a
dia
baby.
tidur pun dia kencing.
Yeah, he wet his diapers.
Yeah, I mean our parents didik kita untuk go to the toilet bila kita muda pasal tak nak pakai diapers kan, tapi dia for him pula dia nak memakai diapers lah. I don't know why lah. Yeah, but
Okay, before we give our opinions, apa ni, Ustazah Hidayah has done some research, right, about this because we want to educate ourselves lah. Like, is this thing real? So she did her research and found that it's not a mental related issue.
Yeah, it's not categorized as a mental illness. However, what I found is that there are some findings about how this could be like a coping mechanism for stress or trauma. Some others include emotional attachment to childhood, or sometimes wanting to create an environment where they feel like they can control.
Right.
Yeah, because they can control, right, what they wear, what they want to do, and things like that, right? Yeah, but I'm sure there is an extensive detailing into this ADBL kan? ABDL.
Adult baby diaper, ABDL.
Yeah. Astaghfirullah. ABDL. Yes, this is ABDL that people struggle with lah. Yeah, but I just want to jadi co-host. I just want to know your first thoughts.
My first thought.
Yes, regarding to this.
When I
this
read
story.
it, I was shocked because first of all, I've never heard of anyone who is going through this kind of thing lah. I've never heard of the ABDL. And then my second reaction was, if I were the wife, how I have handled it? I think just listening to the punya curahan hati ni kan, I feel like she has gone through a great deal of hardship. It's very hard because you are trying to be accepting, you are trying to understand, but then this is something so far out of the norm. You have been trying to cater, but then it's to you yourself, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable. And then on top of that, in a marriage, right, you're supposed to macam feel attracted to your partner, But if your partner is in an image, pakai diapers and everything, like how would that affect the marriage?
Yeah.
The romance, macam I don't think I can get there. Yeah.
Unless kalau both of them are wearing diapers, then lain lah. Lain situation lah. I mean,
betul.
if both of them are into the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
But in this
How about
particular, for me, when I first heard about it, when I baca that time, when we received it, I read it and I turned to her, I'm like, can you read this story? Because I cannot believe it. So when I saw it, macam, firstly, I feel that this is something that I usually see in Western punya shows, reality TV shows. Macam orang suka dress up as lamppost, suka dress up, suka makan sabun and things like that. So I feel that this is
Not in our culture.
Not in our culture. It's very rare that we've heard of this kind of stories. But I feel that the fact that there is, according to according to the submission, he actually has a community
Right.
Where they talk about this, they share whatever that they need to share about the latest trending diapers or something. So it becomes like a, in a sense, macam I feel like it becomes like a apa nama dia, hobby group. Like macam official
same interest
interest group. Yeah, so
Macam cosplay gitu.
macam cosplay, yes.
Community.
Yeah, just that I feel he becomes too comfortable in this. So I kind of feel that the first step, I feel if I were to be in her shoes, if I'm the wife, I would drag him and bring him to a professional and probably to get rid of this particular situation that he's in, because to understand the fact that it is affecting my intimacy with you, it is affecting the fact that I cannot see you as a husband because you wet your bed at night. I mean, first and foremost, we are adults. The first thing that we need to understand is the quantity that we release when we're sleeping is different than the baby, kan? So how?
The thing that I really want to know is what is the root cause that cause him to be like this? Did something happen? Like that is what I really want to know lah.
So is it something that he should have shared with her before they got married? Because I mean, it could have been a deal breaker. Kalau sebelum you kahwin anak you tahu malam-malam I tidur dengan diapers. So maybe some definitely they will make a conscious effort to okay, if I were to marry you, will you stop wearing diapers to bed? It could have been that way. So
I think in your opinion, Ustazah, should he have shared this part of himself to his partner or keep it to himself?
Okay, I do think that he might have some reservations, which is why he didn't share prior.
Yeah, I think so.
Or it could be that because he might view it as, it's an interest. Right, so everybody has interest. So macam what's wrong with my interest, right? Yeah, so I do think there could be different factors as to why it was not shared before the marriage. Or we could even go down to the point that maybe before the marriage we are not asking the right questions. So which is why we're not getting certain pieces of information.
Right.
yeah,
But I think what maybe you also have experienced in your journey of marriage is you can know so much about a person, but after you marry that person,
Yes,
Under
then
one
we'll know.
roof.
yeah, you begin to learn more about them.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you learn more about yourself as well.
Betul.
Yeah, so which is why there's this verse in the Quran where Allah tells us that Allah knows our secrets and what is much more secret than the secret.
Oh.
Yeah, so that means kan when we have secrets kan, it's between us and Allah, right? People tak tahu, but there are secrets about ourselves even yang kita tak tahu, yang Allah tahu.
Right.
Like if you think about you in 2024 and if you think about you in 2014, will you know yourself that much?
No.
Tak
Definitely
kan?
not. Yeah.
But those are the 10 years of secrets yang Allah dah tahu. And which is why He knows not just your deepest secrets, but the things that you don't even know about yourself.
Yeah. The
Pun
things
Allah
that
tahu.
we don't know that we need to know.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we learn about the secrets of others, in this case our partner, we pun start to learn more about ourselves.
Whether or not we can
Kan?
tolerate
Yeah,
certain
our
things.
capacity.
Yeah.
And how long we are able to accommodate to this lah. And to be honest, my first thoughts when we approach this story or this submission kan, my first thought, I think it's a women perspective lah sebab kita perempuan.
Yeah.
So of course the first thought will always be what could be running through the mind of the wife lah.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And of course we really empathize her journey, her experiences. But similarly to Farah, macam I cannot imagine what I would do, in that circumstance.
Kan.
But of course for us, because kita outside kan,
Yeah.
outside in case.
So
So
yeah,
outside,
outsiders.
outside of that environment.
Yeah.
So of course kita ada that space to rationally think.
Mm,
But what
betul.
happens when you are driven with a lot of your emotions,
Yes.
and then you consider a lot of things, and certain choices that you make will affect your marriage.
Yes.
So now it is already affected. Do I want to do something yang further affect it?
Right.
Which is why sometimes we hold back on certain, help seeking opportunities. Sometimes we hold back on wanting to put our thoughts on the table because we
Right.
feel like it will make things worse. But what if it can make things better? Right? So
okay.
it's something that we can consider or think about lah.
Selling solutions, not promises.
Hi, I'm Ira again from Sri Kandi Associates. Do you know that you can choose to keep up to 20k each in your CPF OA when purchasing a flat? This is a good option if you have excess funds, as it can be a fallback for you to service your mortgage in the event of a mishap such as loss of employment or income. To know more, you can contact us at Sri Kandi Associates 8788-3559. Sri Kandi, selling solutions, not promises.
Would you consider that the wife was like, this term called the enabler? Because he says she tried to understand it and things like that. So the husband macam makin comfortable. Why my wife okay wear diapers? So jadi daripada maybe once a week to become almost every night kind of thing. Would you consider that as partly how they go about it? Because the wife tak nak sakitkan hati husband dia.
Trying to be
understanding kan. And then if let's say, would it possibly have been different if let's say the wife say put a stop to it right now? I mean, we change this whole diapers scenario to, let's say, something dalam Islam is haram, which is alcohol. Yeah. Let's say the husband is, I'm just a casual drinker. I just drink when I'm with my friends. But the wife said, I understand. I mean, of course it's haram, but because he say he's trying to change, maybe lah, he says he's trying to change. Okay, I know my wife understands me. It's very hard for me, but I want to istiqamah. Tapi tetap dia diberi green light to, it's okay, go and be comfortable with your friends, go and drink. But then eventually he became more comfortable with the idea of my wife say, okay, daripada satu malam jadi satu minggu kind of thing. And he turns out to be a habitual drinker.
Right.
So in that context, definitely it's we know what is right, what is wrong. If I'm an alcoholic and then you tell me stop drinking or else I won't marry you or else I need a divorce. So does this then apply to her and the husband's situation of wearing a diaper?
I think for us, human beings kan, kita macam I feel lah, personally for me, but when I find somebody, when I find somebody that loves me and macam gives me care, gives me attention kan, one small fault to me, macam I don't want to, you know what I mean, I don't want to lose him basically. So
one small better lah.
Yeah,
okay.
so I just macam put a band-aid over it and say like, it's okay, this is something I can close one eye with. But like you said, because of my choice, then it deteriorated. Yeah, it became worse. Deteriorated. Tak apalah, it became worse.
Faham.
Yeah.
Can't say the word. So is there anything that she could have done back then when they were sharing this secret?
I really like what you just shared lah, because that is the case of when we are in love kan, macam we really love that person, so macam takkanlah my preferences will get in the way of my love that I have towards this person kan. But I do think that in those moments kita pun tak tahu whether that small matter is really a small matter or it can actually be something bigger, lead to something bigger lah. But interestingly, you know how sometimes we use the term, I love you for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what that means?
Right. Maybe you share.
Bukan answer tau, right?
Do you know what that means? I mean, we apart from the fact that kita is like ibadah lah, but deeper tak tahu kot. That's why you're here today.
Yeah, so I do think that macam why we do that is also out of love, but sometimes we do say that we do that because I love my husband, I love my wife, for the sake of Allah SWT. So of course it's, as you mentioned, it's for the purpose of ibadah. My purpose in loving you is because I want to gain that love from God. That is my purpose. So meaning, if my basis of love towards you is for God and Allah is my foundation, it also means that any decision that I make will be governed by the love of Allah. So the decisions I make, if I want to pursue something or if I want to leave something, it's always on the basis of, is Allah okay with this? Is Allah acceptable? Will I attain the love and the pleasure of Allah SWT or otherwise? And in the course of loving somebody for the sake of Allah, be it your spouse or your friend or anything, right? Part of the definition actually is what you shared earlier, and that is not to make these little matters be in the way of that relationship that you have built.
You good.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So that is love for the sake of Allah SWT lah. Not making the small matters be in the way of your love for each other for the sake of Allah. But again, sometimes we forget to weigh out what we are putting aside what we are discounting, what we feel like it's just a small matter, but kita really like sit down and think, could this become a bigger matter in the near future?
Right.
Yeah, but I think especially when we are new into marriage, what do we know?
Betul lah.
Right? Kita rasa benda tu small, tapi bila dah lama-lama with that small thing, it
Not so
becomes
small
something
anymore.
very big, right? Yeah.
I think probably she also didn't expect this whole situation
Definitely.
to turn out to be this way, kan?
But okay, if this lady came up to you, Ustazah, asking for advice, what would you advise her?
And plus she ended off by saying she wants a divorce.
Yeah, what would you advise her?
Of course, I will not stop her with whatever decisions or choices that she wants to make. But I do think that one of the functions and the duties of Asatiza is to be able to empathize what people go through lah. I do think that a lot of times when our students, when people approach us, it's always about, oh, ni halal ke haram, ni boleh ke tak boleh, should I do this or not? But sometimes we forget that we are skipping so many steps to want to learn about that situation first,
Right.
before coming up with like a certain solution or a certain hukum lah, if they are looking for that hukum.
Okay, so now I ask you pula,
Okay.
if she come to you, Farah, my
Alamak, don't
husband
come to
ni-
me again.
I want to divorce.
You want to divorce? I think we only know the tip of
Yeah.
your story, so we can never. I can't begin to imagine what you go through on the daily, because this is your partner.
Definitely.
You live in the same house. You have to role play with him, with his diapers and everything. Like, I feel as a woman also, I feel like if I was in your position also, I tak boleh tahan. So I wouldn't, macam Ustazah cakap juga, I wouldn't encourage you to stay or to get a divorce. But
Do whatever feels right.
Whatever it feels right for you lah. Whatever is best for you.
So now I got one question.
Oh.
Kan? So because of the fact that she has been layaning the husband punya kehendak in this sense, does that mean that the communication between them is a one-way street? The husband say, I want this, I want that, I want this. But has the wife ever said, I don't want? That's definitely a question that I have right now. If let's say the wife say, kenapa you kena buat macam gini, I tak nak, would that have been a different outcome altogether? Maybe the husband finally snapped out of his own reality, of his own bubble. It's like, oh shucks, my wife actually tak suka jadi baby. My wife wants me to be a man, Perhaps that could possibly be another solution in a sense, because if let's say you, for example, put this whole scenario, every day I nak jadi baby. No, you must change my diapers every day. Then suddenly you say okay. Then suddenly one day you come to me, I nak cerai. Huh? But why?
Right.
But
It was okay what you say okay.
You say okay, what you change for me, what you role play with me someone, no? Why you want to divorce now?
Dia macam from 0 to 100 lah, kirakan.
100 to 0.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, kan? Because you've been agreeing to whatever that I've been doing. So technically, right now, of course, it's not explicitly mentioned here, but from whatever that she has laid out, it seems that it could have possibly been a one-way street. Dia layan.
Tapi now I have a question also.
Wah, banyak soalan.
Dah 2 question tahu.
Just now Ustazah say, for the sake of Allah, right? You love somebody. Small things you should macam just
Depends.
How to say? It depends lah kan. So in this situation pula, should she just accept for the sake of Allah?
Is it really?
Let me answer question 2 first. Question 2 is, these small matters will not be in the way kan of my love for this person for the sake of Allah. But while this matter should not be in the way, it does not mean we discard the matter.
Oh.
People always understand, meaning kita tutup sebelah mata je.
Apa-apa
Close
dia
one
buat okay,
eye,
apa-apa dia
it's
buat
okay, it's
okay.
okay. Love for Allah,
It's okay.
But actually, what that means is this will not be macam the determinant of my bigger perhaps decisions, but I still need to address. This will not be in the way, but we have got to work this issue out because big things come from smaller things lah.
So I think at the end of the day, by hook or by crook, you have to address it somehow lah.
Definitely.
If the wife really feels that you cannot tahan anymore, I feel like as this as discomfort pula, as uncomfortable as it is, it's a discussion that needs to be had.
Definitely.
Okay, Ustazah nak answer question one pula.
Okay, so tadi question tu So as much as this won't be in the way, but we still need to address. Okay, Islam tak pernah ajar kita untuk tutup sebelah mata benda-benda yang
membuat
could bring greater harm lah.
Ustazah belum habis answer.
Yes.
Sorry, minta maaf.
You too excited.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, but I do think it's a concept yang we need time lah to learn and to understand also kan. Because sometimes we do feel like macam, oh yeah, I love you for the sake of Allah, but certain things trigger us, certain things macam tap on our traumas, and then how do we work around it, right? But for question 1 about enabler and things like that, probably that could be one perspective lah towards the matter. And there is truth in that, because when I ask you, can I do this, can I be this, if you say yes,
then yes lah.
Then yes lah. It is what it is, right? But sometimes we forget to understand that when a person says yes, a person says no, there will always be a lot of underlying
reservations.
things, reservations beneath that. So I do think that the enabler concept is one perspective. But another thing, when we look at that story or that submission earlier, kan, I love that she highlighted that the husband confided in her about the thing.
Right.
So means he took the step to want to tell you, okay, there's something going on that I need to tell you. Of course, we don't know people's intentions. It could be I tell because I need to get this off of my chest. It could be I tell because I need you to enable me.
Right.
It could be I tell because if you find out one day it's going to get worse. So ada banyak sangat intentions which kita don't have control over, right? Because we can control only our intentions and our actions kan. But one thing that probably we could do in that situation is that yes, I am a spouse, I am a wife, I'm a husband, I need to accommodate, I need to understand, I need to empathize what my partner is going through, right? I also need to ensure that I articulate my needs and my thoughts about it. So macam, okay, I understand you suddenly tell me about this secret, but I want you to know what I feel about it. I want you to know what goes through my mind, and I want you to know what I envision our marriage will look like 5 years down the road if this continues, and if we don't change things lah. So probably we don't know. Probably the husband don't have that foresight of what's going to happen.
To him, I think to him is just macam, my God, this is something that I really cannot tahan anymore. I have to tell her. So it's just
to do it
sense of
to wear
release.
diapers.
But she needs to articulate. A wife or a spouse needs to articulate how comfortable or how uncomfortable you are in that situation. Because I think at the end of the day, Islam is all about balance lah. Kan, the concept of Islam, marriage is we are all garments and we are supposed to adapt to each other. Kan, adapt to our seasons, adapt to our quirks, adapt to our shortcomings. But at the same time, because this adaptation is on the basis of, for the sake of Allah SWT, again, on the basis of this is an ibadah. Will this quirk, will this interest contribute to this ibadah, or it will take away the essence of ibadah in our journey together? So I think that's something that we need to be clear, and especially when we have such conversations about our secrets, we need to be clear. Macam example you mentioned kan, alcohol. Then macam, okay, I know, I understand, but you know that it is haram. You know that it is something that will be detrimental not just to the person but the family of that person. We need to say it. Sometimes kita tahu, I know my spouse knows it's haram, but we don't articulate it.
Right.
And if we don't articulate it, it means we're not going to talk about it also. Like, okay, I am now learning that your secret is with your alcohol, but you do know it's haram, right? And you know that haram also entails sins. And my concern right now, I really want to understand you. I really want to help you to work through this. But I also want you to know that it's affecting me to know that you are constantly sinning with this interest that you have.
Right.
And we need to do something about it because a marriage is an ibadah. And this does not contribute to our ibadah. So again, I think clarity of going into a marriage, clarity of understanding marriage to ibadah is something that both parties need to be really, really aware of lah.
Wow.
Yeah, it always goes back to that, I feel.
Yes. Wow.
I need a moment.
Kan?
Sama.
Yeah, amazing, mashallah. I think it's a good reminder for all of us also. Definitely the keyword today lah, we have like what we have mentioned a few times is together. Of course, buat benda yang baik sama-sama lah.
If it contributes to your ibadah, do it together. If not, then talk about it, right?
Work on it
together.
So I think personally, if I were to give one advice to the lady that submitted the story, go and seek counselling with the husband, to marriage counselling, because it's definitely a sign of it's definitely something that they need to work on.
Yeah, I think by the way she cakap pun, if I were in her position, so I wouldn't know what to do. So it's best to seek help lah. Professionally outside.
Professional help, not just for the husband, but for her as well lah. Because she has been going through that for a very long time, and it's not easy for a married person to say, "Oh, I want to choose divorce." Like you might have gone through so much to be able to decide on that lah. But of course, at the end of the day, again, because marriage is an ibadah on the basis of Allah's love. Please remember to ask Allah also to help you with your decisions.
Yes,
really, really
Ambil
important.
tangan, tada,
Ya Allah,
minta doa.
I don't know what to do. Ya
Bangun
Allah,
pukul
please help me.
Bangun pukul 3, pergi solat.
Boleh.
Tajud.
Thank you so much, Ustazah, for coming today. Thank you for having me. Alhamdulillah.
So kalau korang nak lagi Ustazah Hidayah datang, komen lah lebih-lebih dekat Ustazah Hidayah, please come more often. Macam gitu. InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah today's sharing when give you so sorry, gives you perspective. And it will be beneficial for all our listeners, insyaAllah.
So kalau nak lagi advice untuk belak pula,
tengok.
Kalau nak advice untuk jual beli rumah anda, kontak siapa?
Sri Kandi Associates di talian 87883559
8788-3559 or follow them on Instagram at srikandi.associates.
Yes, Sri Kandi, selling solutions,
not promises. We've come to the end of another episode of Outside In.
Yes, if you like what you hear, please follow us on all our socials, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify and YouTube.
Share it with all of your friends and family members so that they can benefit from this episode, InsyaAllah. Till the next one, Assalamualaikum.